I'm Colleen Saidman Yee, and this is Talking Yoga. My guest today is my husband, Rodney Yee. So I've come up with some questions that he doesn't know, and then we'll take some questions from some fans. This is from Jeremiah in Northampton, Mass. He's wondering, what important question do you think your students and other practitioners and teachers should be asking of themselves?
I like what the Dalai Lama poses, and that is saying, my religion is kindness. I think that maybe that's a question, not necessarily a statement, that one might have to ask, is my practice, is what I'm doing on a daily basis allowing me and helping me be more kind? And I think it's a good wall of, even if it's irregardless of whether it's arbitrary, it's a good orientation.
And how do they know if their practice is making them more kind?
I think it can be tricky, but I think there is part of us that does know. Even Krishnamurti says there's this thing called choiceless awareness, that when you're beginning to listen, that there is a choiceless awareness. And I think that choiceless awareness, my belief is that it actually moves you towards kindness.
And do you think that your practice has made you more kind or just more observant when you're not kind?
I believe that it's doing both. It's hard to tell. Again, I do believe it's a slow process. Every so often, I think there are avalanches. I think there are some epiphanies of maybe making it to a different plateau, like electrons making it to a new level, energetic level. But for the most part, I think it's a daily refining process, and it's slow. And just like even Ram Dass said, wow, I've been practicing for 30, 35 years and I still have all the same monsters, but they're a little smaller. It's almost like they're more diminished and something else is actually able to come out because the monsters aren't overshadowing and sort of dictating everything that you do.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like a turtle and you wonder why.
Oh, sometimes it feels like you took 10 steps back. Yeah, I mean, and that...
I think it's good for people to know that you still feel that way. I think it's really good for the community to know that even someone like you struggles with that and has major setbacks.
Oh, it's, the funny thing is setbacks or strides forward it's actually a weird perspective. If the land has no beginning or end, there's no forward and backward. We tend to think of things as a linear progression, and because we think of time also as linear, as like, oh, that was past and now I'm in the present and now there's the future. In fact, I actually don't believe reality exists like that at all. So not only is time not linear, there's nothing in life, I think, that has any linear quality except the way our brain thinks and perceives life to be. So it's more like what Rumi is saying, that there's only a wandering. To fixate on one perspective is maybe one of the big problems of spiritual practice. And that's why Georg Furstein basically says, one of the greatest things about yoga is to be able to shift and change your perspective.
Sheila from Hawaii writes in and says, what role does love play in your practice and your teachings?
This big idea of love, this big idea of self, of something larger than what we call the human birthing and death of something. I don't know if I can even be qualified at all to begin to describe what that is. I feel like I'm in the sea of love. It's almost like you're a fish in the ocean, so does a fish describe the ocean? Well, maybe a little bit. But for the most part, it's just so immense and so big and so deep and so complete. I'm just in it.
But do you feel like love is the opposite of conflict? There's some days that everything just seems so big and expansive that it feels like it's love abound, and then there's some days that everything just seems to be crumpling in and it feels like there's nothing but conflict. Do you feel like they're two ends of the same spectrum.
No, I don't, actually. I think that conflict is a subset of love. In other words, I like what my oldest brother is trying to tell my middle brother, and that is, if God is love and love is all-encompassing, then that includes everything else. Mm-hmm. So conflict is included in love. It may be some weird, distorted, aspect of love.
Or something to move through.
Yeah, or something to include but not be myopic in thinking that's everything. So for instance, I might be having conflict with someone and thinking that's the whole universe is actually a ridiculous idea. But it's included in the universe, and I don't even have to fix it necessarily.
So love is, period.
Love is.